How would you feel if your boyfriend, M38 of 9 months, purchases a home and says it's for you F34? My boyfriend of 9 months purchased a home and said he bought it with me in mind, as we have talked about a future and wanting to have a family. We have had many serious talks about our relationship, and we've both met each other's families. He previously lived in a home for several years and has always thought about changing his living situation, and also wasn't sure if he even wanted to stay to live in the same city. To my surprise, he went to see a house without me knowing and put in an offer. Long story short, his offer was accepted, and he's made comments about how he thought about this house for us eventually. I'm not sure how to feel about it. I'm really happy that he got a house he really likes and at the price he got it for, but I feel we're not there yet to move in with each other. Also, in no way did I have a say in the decision of this house or the location, so I don't think him to say he got the house with me in mind is fair. He hasn't considered the commute for me to travel, to work, or anything that would be considered specifically to actually have me in mind. He bought this home 1 block away from his previous house, as he will be renting out that home now. So this home by default is a great location for him overall. I'm not sure how to feel about his comments and his expectations with me and the house. Additionally, I am a student, and the closing of his house happened to be the very busiest week of exams and assignments I had due. We had conversations about how I could not help him move, and there seemed to be an understanding that the week consisted of working on a presentation, studying for an exam, and working on a paper. Any other free time I had, I invested in self-care such as working out or doing yoga. However, on one of those days, I posted a selfie where I was proud to have accomplished so much in the morning before going into work, and he got extremely upset about this. He went on to say, I didn't care to help him move and that I didn't want to help him move, essentially, and made a huge deal about it as he bought this house with me in mind. What do you think of this? Edit to give more context. The house was bought entirely with his money. I have zero financial contribution to this. We never talked about a specific time frame when I would move in. It was a discussion about how it's something we both would want eventually. We did talk about how I would contribute when that time comes, in which I mentioned expenses such as hydro, utilities, internet, etc. I also made it clear that in no way was I expecting a free ride and not to contribute anything. That's just not my character. Update. How would you feel if your boyfriend, M38 of 9 months, purchases a home and says it's for you F34? We broke up. We basically got into a fight and I blew up with resentment about many things. Wasn't right, but I just feel like I could not talk to him as I kept getting interrupted mid-sentence, denied everything I was saying, and accused of being something I am not. I also realized that when we talked about the reality of me moving in with him, I mentioned that I could sell all my furniture but would want and need to keep my desktop computer or desk. His response to me was that he wouldn't let me have my own room for that, and to get a laptop instead. The man has an entire room dedicated to his sneakers. When I also mentioned the commute and how I'd have to pay for parking, as I take the subway to work currently, not a big deal in comparison to paying for the mortgage, but still an expense, he said there could be days he could drive me, then followed it up with, but you don't ever drive me to work. He did not buy the house with me in mind at all. It's clear that this is his house and he wasn't going to share his space in any other way, besides how he wanted it. We had plans for me to come over on a specific day, but had also fought. I admitted and apologized that I could have put my anger aside and came to help. I have my own priorities and we discussed this. He cannot throw it in my face and tell me I did not meet his needs. I'm not saying, of course, that in case I would not drop something for my partner in an emergency. I did not feel that he understood this. And when I tried to explain this, he said that I was retracting my apology. I just kept feeling constantly misunderstood and having to defend myself in this relationship with other issues as well. That was the end of that. Better to cut it off sooner than later. And before taking the relationship to the next level of commitment. It definitely sucks. And I showed him this thread in which he, of course, was upset, says he felt betrayed. He called me entitled as he thinks I am saying he bought it for me, which I am not in any way. He's missing the point for this post, in which I think he doesn't want to take accountability for not acknowledging he was wrong for throwing it in my face. The main point was guilt tripping and using the "I bought it with you" in mind response. Because clearly, even if the commute was not in mind currently, I live in an expensive area. So to not buy a house here is a valid point. The ability to actually live with him was not with me in mind. He really, absolutely did not care about me as a person and my needs, or even can understand what a real relationship is. He skimmed through all 565 comments and screenshotted the best ones that validated him and sent them to me to prove he's a good guy.